Good morning. We'll get started shortly. Welcome, welcome. Hello, everyone. We are about to get started, and we will start by grounding and centering. So, of course, take a nice, comfortable seat and begin to get ready. We'll do this shortly. It is almost that. It's that time. Take a comfortable seat, close your eyes, and begin to settle in. Take a big, deep breath in through your nose and sigh it out. Another big, full, deep breath in. And sigh it out. Now in through your nose, out through your nose. Allow yourself to arrive in your body. Arrive in this moment. And tune into your senses, noticing the temperature and texture of the air on your skin. Becoming aware of any taste that's present in your mouth. Noticing the smells that are coming to you. Becoming aware of what you see in your mind's eye. Lights, colors, shapes. Noticing the sounds around you. The sounds inside of the space you're in, and the sounds outside of the space you're in. Acknowledge it all and let it be. And take a moment to set your intention for our time together today. Holding that intention in your mind's eye. And when you're ready, let it go. And then slowly opening your eyes and coming back to this place from wherever it is that you just went. And we're going to go ahead and begin the way we always begin. We're going to do our weekly check-in with all of our wins from the last week. And remember, it doesn't matter if these wins are professional or personal or unique to you in the most personal way. No win is too small and no win is too big. So just take a moment to reflect on everything from this last week and go ahead and jot that down. I'm going to set the timer for 5 minutes. All right, so wrapping that up, please do drop a few of those in the chat box and let us know about what felt like wins for you over the last week. And then go ahead and write out your three most important tasks for the week ahead. I see lots of pens still going, which leads me to believe that this was a week of wonderful things. I'm hoping that's the case, that there was a tremendous amount of wonderful things personally and professionally. I'm just going to cross my fingers that I'm right on that. And please drop that into the chat box. Oh gosh, Liz, I'm so glad Lauren's okay. I did not know. Oh, that's terrifying. Oh, T, that's a good one. That's a big one. All right, Beth, congratulations on that award. That's awesome. Yeah, these are great. I'm just loving reading your wins. So much good stuff in there. And um, hopefully it's the spring bringing good things. Oh, you get to see Chandani tonight? Oh, awesome. Okay, so Chandani, who's in Vision to Action and The Artist's Way, she is going to Michigan. And when we had a one-on-one this week, and I was like, be sure to tell Sarah you're coming so that you guys can meet up if possible. So yeah, that's wonderful. I'm so glad that's happening. I love it when the Yoke and Abundance community gets to meet in real life. That's so great. Okay, so finishing up your three most important things for the week to come. So now is the time. It's May 1st, y'all. It's May 1st. And so we are going to be reflecting on April. So April had a lot in it. I don't know about you, but for me, it had a lot going on. And so I want you to do some reflecting. Look back at what you wrote down for your wins for April. What were those highlights? Write them out on that page 71 of your workbook. And then think about, did you accomplish the goals that you set for April? If so, like, what contributed to that win? If not, are they still important? They might not be. I just cannot reiterate enough how important it is to reevaluate our goals. We don't need to be blindly going forward towards something that doesn't feel aligned anymore for whatever reason. Things can change on a dime. And then set an intention for May, right? So we do not have to necessarily have, I didn't think you were going to say pink oyster mushrooms, Jade, but but whatever your intention for May is, put that in there. And then what are your three biggest goals for the month and why? Okay. So that's what we're going to be looking at right now. So let's start with our wins for April. And I'm gonna set the timer for 5 minutes on this one, and I'm gonna check in with us at that mark and see if that was enough time. It might not be. We'll just have to see. So go ahead and start in on your wins for April. Anyone that may have just joined us, what we are doing is we are looking at our wins for April and we are reflecting on April wins. So the 5 minute timer just went up on that one. So for who needs more time? I just want to show of hands. Few people. Okay. If you need more time, go ahead and keep working on that. If you are already done with that, go ahead and look at the next two questions on this to see it, really the next three questions. Just start working your way through the rest of this sheet. All right, so while we're working, if anyone is done and you're looking at your April reflections, I'm wondering what stands out to you about your month. So maybe it's not a specific thing, but what was the overall feeling for you from your April? Saskia.
For me, I had a lot of loss, and it's not something I had personal loss. My uncle passed away and a friend passed away. Um, and that's not something been lucky to not, I've been lucky to not experience much of that.
Mhm.
And so, um, it really gave me, it was very eye-opening. It was very emotional. I'm still very emotional. I feel like um, it put a pause in my life. And yet, I said for May that I wanted to be soft and gentle with myself. And I mean, ideally, I'd like to live like that all the time. However, this was a gentle reminder to introduce that as uh, a priority. I think that's the thing. And then also with the 75-day soft, with all that we're doing together, with all of this learning that I've taken away over these years, Alicia, it's the re-entry back. I am now learning like that is where the juice lies. It's not starting something new.
Mhm.
It's re-entering back with grace and accepting that, okay, that was a pause, or that was a moment, or that was a time for that. Because life happens constantly, all the time, and we're thrown curveballs often very unexpectedly. And to live with how do you enter right back in and then just pick up from where you last left off.
Mhm.
And that is something I am learning, and I am so grateful for in this group and in um, these goals that we set for ourselves. And so that's been my big takeaway.
Thank you. Anyone else have anything from their month that they would like to share? T.
My month went really well, and all these amazing things happened, and I responded to that with irritation because I didn't understand the message. Because like all of these like amazing like synchronistic things would happen and messages and improbable things were happening and they were all amazing. And I was like, but I don't understand. What's the message? What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to? And it like, thank goodness for my therapist who's just very calm and will just, and who over the last several sessions, like maybe 6 weeks, has been like, therapy is not just for bringing up troubles. You can be here to celebrate growth and to consolidate growth and to, so it's like, oh, I treat life like it's an escape room. Like I always have to be figuring out the next puzzle. And it's like maybe life is just saying, being affectionate. Maybe the universe is being particularly affectionate with me right now, and I can just like blow it back a kiss and not treat it like it's a riddle I have to figure out. And it's like, oh, but it's like all month, wonderful things happen. And I responded with irritation because I didn't get it. I didn't, what does this clue mean? What am I supposed to be figuring out? What am I supposed to do with this? And it's like looking at it from the outside, it's like, that's so silly. Just enjoy it. Just just enjoy it. And even in playing cards, I had improbable things happen. Like I would make a really risky choice, like doesn't make any sense. And I'd be like, but in my head, I'd be like, but I know I'm gonna pull the jack. I just know it. So this does make sense to give my partner an incredibly good thing that's going to give him points because I know I'm going to pull this and I'll have more points. And it would always happen. Like I can do it in a game, but when it comes to my life, I'm like, well, but what does that mean? So I'm learning slowly.
Thank you, T. Who else? Tell me about your April. Yes, Liz.
One of the words that came to me is frenetic because it was very, very action packed. Also, and I'll let you all know, I'm pretty excited. We're actually going to be moving back to North Carolina.
You are?
Yes. My husband got a job at Davidson, so we're going to be coming back to North Carolina. So for those of you in North Carolina, I'm hoping I'll get to see you. And those of you not in North Carolina, I still hope to see you. But it's just been, April has just been a lot with having that whole thing with my daughter's college. It's just me traveling for fun and for work. It was just, I feel like it was 3 months crammed into a month. So, which it's many blessings in there. I think one of the things I'm finding, and I found this recently and I named it, is with everything that was happening, I started to feel myself sort of this way, especially as with a move and stuff like that, like starting to find, when we first decided, I felt so open and abundant and this is exciting. And then the creep of worry and stress and spinning happens. And I'm really trying to fight that and say, no, kind of like what you said, Tian, like, no, I'm choosing to see this. Yeah, things are there are bumps in the road, but I was feeling myself closing in, if that makes any sense. And I really don't want to live that. I want to live open and abundantly. So, yes. So
Made my whole day. I'm seriously crying happy tears right now. I'm so happy.
you're very sweet. Well, we're excited. It's a great opportunity. My husband had not planned, was not looking for an opportunity, but it's a great school, and my daughter is probably it's a little tricky because she won't be coming home at Thanksgiving and Christmas to see her high school friends, but we'll work through all that, and she understands. So, and she knew when she chose her school in North Carolina that she knew that's what's happening. So she was in on all that. So thank you.
That's awesome. That's so awesome. Thank you for sharing all of that. And I understand about that feeling of like open-hearted abundance and then like the confrontation of reality and like how do you hold both? Yeah, I'm with you on that. All right, anyone else want to share about their April? Especially if you're telling me that you're going to move to North Carolina. Jade, are you going to tell me you're going to move to North Carolina? Because that would also.
Eric just got back. They just acquired a firm in North Carolina.
Baby
So,
steps. Okay, Jade, go ahead. Sorry.
first of all, hi. I've been missing. Yeah, so my last few months has been getting right with myself. I did a big deep dive into collapse awareness. So civilization collapse, societal collapse, and it kind of it did a lot. And so I've been dealing with a lot of that. But I feel like I'm finally coming out of that. I have not had the capacity to deal with other humans. But I am back now, and I hope to stay back. But yeah, my April it was like you have a birthday and you turn an age, and all of a sudden you're like, shit, what is going on? Like everything's failing in my body and I don't even feel that old and life sucks. And is this what getting older actually means? Like literally the day after you have a birthday. So that was my April. Yeah, I don't have that much to say about this topic. I just kind of wanted to come in and say that I'm sorry I've been missing you all, but I'm here and I'm just so excited to see you guys.
I'm so glad that you are back with us. And just for everyone, sometimes it's important to step away, and I'll be talking about that shortly. But stepping away is very important, and it's important for so many reasons. And it's always okay if you're like, I need a break. It's always okay to take a break because we're going to be here. We're going to be here and we're going to be moving and we're going to be going. And you can come back. But it kind of harkens back to what Saskia started us with of like, there's something to that not starting, but like staying. And if you're staying, you have to take breaks. Okay. Who else would like to share? Anyone else want to share anything about? Yes, Heba.
Okay, last month was like a roller coaster for me. It was just a strange month, but like it was really interesting because last month was like getting comfortable with the idea of you don't know what's going to happen. So just being, I just call it like journey to the unknown. This is how I feel it's like. So it's very interesting because all the gifts come out of it, the connection, the real expressing yourself and all these things. So this makes things better. And what I learned, it's like for myself, it's like either I stick with one of the habits, like I have a lot of habits in my day to do, and I was not doing most of them, but I was sticking with one or two and just keep going on one. And now I'm getting back to add again to whatever I started. So this makes a huge difference. Just coming back to whatever I used to, but in a different ways. So I think this is a gift of like trying to do things differently and just understand it's okay if everything's not the way I'm used to it. It's not the way I'm expecting it. That's fine. We can just always the idea to be comfortable to not know what's gonna happen, because we always like tend to like to know the structure of our life and how everything's gonna happen, but just believing that the good is gonna happen, whatever how it is, it's a little bit challenging for me, but like I'm trying to get comfortable with. So yeah, this was mainly April. So yeah.
Thank you for sharing. Anyone else have any thoughts they want to share? Okay. I want to talk about some changes that are going to happen over the next month or so. And I'm going to talk about some stuff that's going on in my life that I think is in some ways very applicable to all of you in ways that I won't even understand. But so I think if you've seen my emails, you know I've been diagnosed with breast cancer, and I am certain I will be okay. And but there are so many unknowns, and there's so much in between knowing you're going to be okay and like the stuff you have to do. But you know, unfortunately breast cancer is something that many women get, and so I'm not the first and I won't be the last, and I feel very confident in the plan for what's happening. And so far, what that plan is that I'm going to do a holistic treatment that will be about a month. And during that time, I can't work. And so I'm so lucky. I have so many of you that have volunteered or said yes to my ask for facilitating. So Vision to Action is going to keep going while I'm out during that time. And I will send you a schedule of who's presenting when and what topics, but we've got, in some ways, I think this is probably the best possible thing for Vision to Action right now, because you're going to get to hear from each other. And there's so much wisdom and incredible resources that we have. And so this is going to be a really beautiful thing for all of you. It will be same structure in that you'll come and you'll do your wins and your goals. And then the facilitator pretty much gets free reign to share a topic that for that particular time and space. But I wanted to talk about this as far as I wanted you to know what was coming, and that I'm okay. That holistic healing is going to happen, and then about a month after that holistic healing time, I'll be doing a lumpectomy, as far as I know right now. Turns out things change all the time in this process. You think you know one thing, and then something else happens. So I won't go into all the nitty-gritty details about that, but I'm just learning that this is a very bumpy road, and to expect the unexpected. So what I want to talk about is intuition piece of things. And thank you, Mary Beth, for spurring this particular topic. But, you know, I preach that we need to go inward. So I had a whole series when I started my business on the wise women, right? And the whole thing is that each of us has deep wisdom within, and that wisdom is what we really need to mine. So when someone comes to work with me as a coach, and you've all experienced a little bit of it, hopefully you understand that this is how I do things. But when we're asking a question, the person we're really asking is ourselves. And so it's cutting through the layers of fear and turmoil and the outward stuff to get to that person, that wise self on the inside, to help us answer our questions. And so often we can, if you're really good at this, I want to know. But I'll tell you what, this is a perpetual practice in my life, and we teach the things we are practicing often, right? And I think I've gotten pretty good at listening to my intuition, yet sometimes I still ignore it. So I've been going at a pretty unsustainable pace in my work. And part of what I'm very intrigued by with this holistic healing that I'm going to be doing is I was told to treat it like a vision quest, and I was told, don't work. If you're not going to stop your life for cancer, what are you going to stop your life for? And I was really resisting the stopping my life piece. I don't really want to talk too much about what I'm doing, but I'll just tell you, it's not the healing part, the work that I'll be doing that I was the most scared of, and it's like gonna be kind of intense. It's gonna be really intense. I was scared. The most fear came up around the not working. So you've probably heard me say this before. Fear is the blinking red light to move forward. If you're not being chased by a tiger, guys, I mean, you know the difference here. You know the life and death fear and the other thing. But I had just said this to Philip about something that he was working on. And then and then I got that question of, if you're not going to stop your life for cancer, what are you going to stop your life for? And I realized that I was terrified of the stopping. And I know that this is where my work is. My work is in the learning. I need to learn how to do life differently than I'm doing life right now. And I love my work. I love my business. So that makes it really, really challenging to figure out what that balance is of sustainability. And so I'm in the muck and I'm figuring it out. And I want to be careful with how I share this with all of you, because I don't know who originally talked about this. I know where I heard it, but I don't know that she's the person that actually came up with it. Amy Porterfield is who I heard it from. But she talks about when you're sharing with your folks, I think it was Brene Brown she got this from. You share it from a scar, not a scab. And clearly I'm in a wound right now. So I wanted to share with all of you, like, as much as I can. But what I know is that I'm going to follow my own advice, and I'm listening to my intuition. And I think that we often confuse our fear and our intuition, and often the fear is your sign. So if you're feeling fear around something, it's really something you need to pay attention to. And I've been ignoring this fear for many years now, and this is my opportunity to play with that. And so you all will be very, very taken care of while I'm gone. I'm very certain of that. Replays might take a little bit longer than normal to get up in the system, but you will be so taken care of, and I'm so excited for you to hear from each other. But I want to open this up for questions. Like I said, I'm not going to go into specifics around what around the healing practice that I'm doing. Because that could be really triggering for some people, and I just don't, I would prefer not to go there. But what I do want to, if you have questions in general about this, what's coming, or intuition versus fear, this is a great time for us to chat about that. Yes, Liz.
My question is, and I applaud your pause. I think that's really, it's hard and it's really, really good. How can we best support you? I know you're not going to be working, so I don't want us to inundate, like, how can we best support you during that time that you're pausing?
Thank you so much for that. I want you to take care of each other, is what that would really be helpful to me. And what I mean by that is check in with one another. If you all need help presenting, I'll be sending the list out. You'll know who's presenting on what day. I think the way I'm going to do it is just give my Zoom login and information to y'all. I mean, we have a group that I can trust explicitly. I feel very lucky in that. And so please be active in Telegram with each other, support each other, listen to each other's goals, hear what you each have to say and what's important. And the biggest shift in this year that I have felt from this year and past programming, not necessarily Vision to Action, is that the world is changing and our relationship with goals is changing. Our relationship with dreaming is changing. And so, um, your dreams are still important, even though the world in which we live in the United States at least, it would be no matter what side of the aisle you're on, it's changing drastically. And that is directly affecting our ability to dream, our ability to take care of each other in society. And so that's affecting how we are going after our dreams and our goals, or even acknowledging and wanting our dreams. So for me, what's most important is that you hold each other very tenderly right now. And if you could do that, and I would know that you all are taken care of, that would mean the world to me. So get a little more active in Telegram. Thank you for that question, Liz. What else? I know there's more questions. Don't be shy.
What about sort of talking yourself out of your intuition? So I'll often have a feeling and then I start like rationalizing myself out of it. So I'll be like, this feels off or this feels weird. And then I'll be like, oh, that's just because you had a bad experience in the past, or it's just because you're not thinking of their perspective. But like I'll talk. And then, of course, the epiphany comes where I'm like, I was right. I knew that this whole time and I was right. But so I often do hear my intuition. Then I just like talk myself out of it. Like, no, you're fine. It's this other thing. Yeah. So like, how do we stop gaslighting ourselves?
You know, Liz has said this often, but it's like that Oprah quote that like, it's the pebbles. And then what? How does that go?
There are two quotes that I was going to say. First
Okay.
is, and they're both from Oprah. It just happened to be, one is doubt means don't. So if you're feeling, unless you have to make, sometimes you don't have the luxury of time, but if you have the time, is to dig into what's either hesitating you, like, what is uncomfortable, or why am I hesitating? So doubt means don't. Try, if you can, take the time to do that. The other is, the universe, whatever you want to call it, gives us messages, right? And first it's pebbles, like they throw pebbles at you that might just be annoying, but you can kind of just ignore. And then they might throw a brick or a rock, something bigger, and it just escalates. And if you don't pay attention, often, and I've had this happen, you get a brick wall where, like, if you don't pay attention to the little signs along the way, eventually there'll be a wall. So two different ways. The whole intuition thing, I think of the doubt means don't, meaning whether it's yes or no, like trying to untangle what that is. There was something, I can't remember now, it was in the last year, but it took me like 3 days to unpack it. And once I did, I could make a decision. Does that help at all?
I've also, Lauren is on the call right now, but her video is off. Lauren, you don't have to come on if you don't want to, but you know, so I've meditated for years, clearly. And I'm going to be perfectly honest. I have the toughest time with meditation. So tough. And I've always felt like it was pulling teeth, like, although I knew it was deposits in the bank, right? Like, all right, I'm doing this thing. It kind of sucks. I hate it. Like, I don't think I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And, but I'm teaching it and we're just doing it. And this is how it's going. And I've had a very hard time with guided meditations, like other people's guided meditations. I've had a tough time with that too. So now I'm on a new journey, right? So on a new journey, I'm like, okay. I tried to read, I don't know what this was. I tried to read Joe Dispenza's book, Becoming Supernatural. Probably 4 years ago, I think it was. And I remember listening and turning it on and listening for like a run and being like, I don't know about this. Kept like one of those, like, I'm just muscling through this. And it's so funny because I'm now once again revisiting Joe Dispenza. I was like, I think I need to give this another try, right? And so I'm giving Joe Dispenza's book another try, and now I'm at the end of it, and I don't. What I'm listening to now is not what I remember hearing then. So it's almost like I'm listening to something completely different, even though I know it was the exact same book. And I have been doing his meditations, like hour-long meditations every day for the last 7 days, and that is it's put me very more in touch with those signals, Sarah, of like, that's the thing. All right, listen, like instead of like ignore, it's like, nope, that's the thing. So I found a meditation that is working for me, that is helping me with that. But I would second what Liz said, and I'm sure there's other good things in there too, but I think it's about the pause. However you find a way to pause, I think it is about the pause. And some of us might need a 30-day work pause to figure it out too. All right. Any other questions? I know you have questions. Okay, well, if you think of more that you don't want to ask. Oh, did you have one, Megan? Were you gonna?
No, I was debating like sharing something. I was going to say that for me, intuition sometimes doesn't, like, going against my own intuition doesn't always mean that there's doubt, but it's a feeling that I have within my body. And there is a relaxedness that comes in my stomach when I play out the scenario, like one of the options. And it's not always easy to honor that, because it's not always easy to be embodied, and it's not always easy to like do that when you're thinking of all the other things like that you were saying about earlier, we gaslight ourselves with. But it's been one I've been trying to make sure that I do with my daughter. Like, she'll get very frantic and in her head about like, which thing do I do? And I'm like, well, let's say we're doing it this way. I was like, how does that feel in your body? And it's not a practice that we get pointed back to very often. I think most things in our society encourage us to disconnect from our bodies. I see this all the time with, food. And so it's, I think that's what I was debating sharing, is that for me, like, there may not necessarily be a doubt, but there is, when there's not, there's definitely like a body feeling that's different.
So glad you shared that. So glad you shared that, because that is, I think, accurate. I think a lot of us feel that way or have that experience. If we're willing to pause long enough to feel it and acknowledge it.
Can I share real quick? I know
Yes.
we're like approaching time. It's a very similar practice over here, and how I navigate that to what you shared, Megan, is like when I take that pause, and I think Alicia had said, like, it's figuring out what the pause looks like for us. And for me, it's almost always like an embodiment practice.
Mm-hmm.
And that might be a walk, it might be time in nature. I actually do have, now that we know Alicia hates guided meditations, I have a guided meditation.
I don't hate them.
Which I love. I love that you shared that. Because I have mixed feelings. Like, I'm very picky about guided meditations, but I have a guided meditation that I send to coaching clients when they're having trouble with this topic, or like trouble tapping in specifically to that physical element. And it's often like the lack of embodiment often ties into things like paying attention to what kind of physical activity and what kind of food you want to eat as well. So actually the embodiment practice in the guided meditation that I send is about food. So I may share that in Telegram. You guys are open to listening, to checking it out. Yeah.
Please share that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any other thoughts, questions, contributions? Yes, Jane.
Okay, so just a quick example of like one of my favorite things to do with intuition is to see the proof. And even when you don't know why you're doing something. So just a quick example, about a year ago, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the solar farms, and you know that you can sign up to join a solar farm and then pay through that instead of your electric company. So whatever, I did that and I didn't know why, but I was like, this just feels right. It just feels like something I need to do. So I did it, and my husband, intuition and spouses or partners is another thing, right? So I'm constantly coming up against my intuition says this, my husband says this, and they're constantly like this. So my husband berated me about doing the solar farm thing. Okay, well, yesterday, I don't know if you can see this. We got a solar refund back. And I was like, oh, that intuition thing, you know, we probably should do more with that. So anyway, it's just evidence. Like I got it and immediately I was like, there it is. There's the evidence. There's the proof. So for me, kind of locking in those evidence moments helps me strengthen my intuition and feel like I'm not a crazy person, that like something in me knows. And I think that that's true for all of us. Something in us knows when something is right to do it. Sometimes we get that evidence back, sometimes we don't. But when we do, lock it in so that you can flaunt it to the people who are like, that's not true. That's not going to happen. So there's my, contribution.
Oh, Jade, thank you. I'm so glad you're here today. Okay, you wonderful ladies. I would love to hear your takeaways. So who wants to go first?
I can go first.
Okay, thank you.
To flaunt it to the haters. That's a good one, Jade. I mean, not in like a petty way, but to be proud and follow your intuition. Yeah.
Mary Beth, will you pick who goes next?
Heba.
I guess it's like listening to our bodies and how does anything we like, we want to do, how does it feel in our bodies? Like what Megan said, like, yeah, it's true. We want to explore this. I think, yeah. Who goes next? I can, Saskia.
I think my takeaway is confirming the pause, like just being in the pause. It's okay to pause. Learning how to be in the pause. I think that's a big takeaway. So thank you.
Oh, will you pick who goes next? Sorry.
Sarah B.
Mine is sort of piggybacking off of Mary Beth, but I'm the hater. So like taking notes for myself so that later I can look back and be like, come on, you know to trust yourself. So T.
The pause, the importance of just taking the pause. Oh, and Leslie.
I think mine's the same, learning how to take a pause as well. I'm typically not good at that, so.
Thank you. Will you pick who goes next?
Oh, sure. Liz, have you gone?
I would say the power of intuition and the power of community. So that's it. Megan?
Listening to some of you all talk about like April more in like a summary format versus just like the goals that you hit, made me kind of put a summary around my April. And I did some things that I didn't think I could do or were going to happen, or I didn't know how they were going to go, and they went really well. And so it was like, I can do the things. I can do some of these things well. Oh.
Thank you. And Jade, you've not gone yet, right?
The sacred pause.
It's all about the pause, isn't it? I think that was everyone, right? Okay. Did I miss anyone? I don't think so. Thank you all so much. I'll see some of you in the Artist Way tomorrow, and I will be here with you next week. I will see you soon. Bye, guys.